This guy does Ben Shapiro's annoying ass voice, and Ben Shapiro was like making those stupid comments about like WAP or some show that
WAP.
some song that WAP is that what it is that Cardi B made, and he was like doing his like over the top stupid analysis and trying to make it much more of a thing about culture than it was. And this guy really does the Ben Shapiro voice well, and he's not even mocking that much what Ben Shapiro was saying. Like Ben was like, and these people are talking about wet vaginas. My wife would tell you that that might be a disease you're dealing. Like he was getting roasted for like questioning the.
Let me give a little background for people who haven't seen this meme. So I guess there's a song. I haven't seen the song, but it's like Wet Ass Pussy. And the girl talks about just how turned on she is and how wet she is and stuff like that. Well, Ben Shapiro's wife is a doctor, and she had like a couple of like diagnoses is why someone's pussy might be that wet. And so Ben Shapiro came out and he's like, it might be vaginitis, it might be this. Then everyone took it as the greatest self-own ever.
It was.
He doesn't know that women's pussies get wet when they're turned on. And his wife tried to convince him that a wet pussy is really a disease and not something that would happen very often. And
what?
It was. People weren't trying to say it was a great cell phone. It was an incredible cell phone.
So I didn't know all that. I thought, because I saw those, like, it's that meme where the guy's sitting in front of like a college with a table and there's a sign in front of it that says, "Wet pussies don't exist. Convince me."
I changed my mind.
Changed my mind. Yeah. It's that meme. And I was just like, okay, so they're just making fun of like the very idea that Ben Shapiro doesn't know about turning women on. Okay. I didn't know that there was a whole background story. That's embarrassing.
There's a song where the woman is like over the top slutty and talking about how wet her pussy is.
Is it a Cardi B song?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I guessed.
And then so Ben Shapiro like reads the lyrics and clutches his pearls about how terrible today's society is. And that was the bit he did. But now everyone is like, what? You don't know? Like, what? Let's watch this thing.
Yeah. This guy's impression of it is so on.
Are you guys ready?
All right.
Yep.
Ready, set, play.
So recently, a song was released. It's very popular. It's all over the radio.
Nailing it.
It's by Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B. It's called WAP. These are some of the lyrics. Whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. Hold up. I said certified freak 7 days a week. Wet, wet, wet. Make that game week. Woo. And all I'm saying is, I think they're spreading some false information. I've never seen a pussy get wet, let alone seen a pussy, I don't know, be anything other than just what's on a female's body. And trust me, I know the female body. I'm married, and I've never seen her be wet before. I've never been wet. The thing is, humans don't want to be wet. I think this is false information, and I just want to let everybody know that the liberals are, of course, once again, trying to spread false information to the youth.
He nails it so fucking hard.
It's so fucking good. Like, I would have thought that was Ben Shapiro if you close your eyes. It's great when you hear an impression that's so spot on like that.
I see things
really good.
that Shapiro didn't say or write, but written in his style that makes me read it in his voice. Like,
Cardi B is so fucking filthy. Like I have to listen to her music occasionally. It gets played, and I'm just like, I'm not paying attention at first, and then all of a sudden I'm like, wait, what the fuck did she just say? We're in public. We're in public. Like I'm a grown ass man. I've had a whole bunch of sex. That's making my face turn a little red. That's shameful what she's saying.
There are children here. Yeah.
There were at the time. There was like 2 14-year-olds there. I was like, they don't need to hear about this. She's talking about all sorts of. She's talking about her pussy 24/7. She's a horrific person, by the way. She used to be a stripper, and she would drug men and rob them. She would like lure them back to hotel. She would Bill Cosby men, and instead of raping them, she would rob them.
No, dude, that's girl power.
Yeah, that's larceny.
It is, but she's never gonna get called on it. Yeah. She was. I heard her on Stern about 4 years ago, I guess, and she's just a real brain dead fucking person. I
like it when they surprise you. I like it when they go on like a Stern and you're like, wow, this person's got some real gray matter. Like I didn't expect
Lady Gaga. Yeah. Lady Gaga's like that, and and her. I like when their live performances are as good as like the album. Like Lady Gaga was on Stern. If anybody's listening to this and you give a fuck at all, like Google and listen to her play. I think she did Poker Face, or maybe, but she's got a piano in studio, and she kills it. It sounds just as good as her album. Like she's legitimately super talented.
I don't listen to either of their music.
You know who's more
Really? You don't
talented
like
than he
Lady
gets
Gaga?
credit for?
I don't know who she is.
Justin Bieber's really talented. Everyone
course,
hates
yeah.
on that guy. Okay, you say, of course. I feel like in general, I've seen a lot of people make fun of his guitar playing, and
Really?
I'm no
I feel
judge.
like he
but
aged out
Have you
of
seen his cock?
yes, yeah,
He's talented
Legit.
all around.
yeah.
He aged out of the like being mocked for being a squirrely little guy, hasn't he? Like I don't hear anything about.
He's looking rough these days.
Yeah, he looks like a
trailer
gas
trash.
station employee. Okay.
Looks like a-
We agree.
Yeah, it's two sides of the same coin. Yeah, he looks like he works at a gas station. He's thin. He's pretty fit-ish, I think. But
Oh, it's the mustache that's giving you that impression. Yeah.
do you have a link?
I like Ed Sheeran's look. He just doesn't fucking care. I like the stories about Ed Sheeran. Have you ever heard Russell Crowe talking about teaching Ed Sheeran to drink?
No.
Ed Sheeran, Russell Crowe was doing this Australian like morning radio show, and he's telling the story of teaching Ed Sheeran to drink. Ed Sheeran had told him at this. He was like, "Yeah, I'm super hungover from last night," and Russell Crowe was like, "I'll come over tonight. I'll show you a few things." So he like shows up with it to Ed Sheeran, and he's got all the ingredients to this drink that he drinks. Russell Crowe's a notorious alcoholic, by the way, so keep that in mind. He's a fucking pro. So he shows up and he's like, whole bucket of ice, right? Like this big bucket of ice. He's like, then he takes an entire bottle of Patron. Then he pours passion fruit in, and then an entire bottle of Patron over everything, and it melts. The ice melts, of course. So like you're able to drink an entire bottle of Patron throughout the course of the night if you just keep drinking this whole thing, because you're drinking so much water along with it, and the passion fruit, I guess, has some effect as well. Not beyond just making it taste good.
Huh.
And so you're hydrating the whole time. You don't get a hangover. And you can drink a whole bottle of tequila and not be ruined the next day. And so Ed Sheeran goes back to like, he's in the New York City. He's in this fancy restaurant, and he's with some people. And he's trying to impress them. He's like, "Hey, you want to see this drinking trick I learned from Russell Crowe?" And they're like, yeah. So he tells the waiter, "Yeah, bring us a whole bottle of Patron." And so they bring him a whole bottle of Patron, and he pours it in there with the passion fruit, and he just starts killing it. He's drinking these 5-ounce glasses of tequila, just putting it away. And the next day, they're like, "What were you doing?" He's like, what do you mean? I don't feel so good. "What did you do last night?" He's like, "I don't know. What did I do last night?" He's like, "You took your shoes and socks off in the middle of the restaurant and put them on the table. You look like a madman." He didn't use the ice. He didn't use the ice. He was drinking straight tequila the whole time instead
That
of
was
like
the only
watered.
part of the trick.
That's what Russell Crowe said. He's like, "Mate, the whole point is the ice.
Yes.
It's the whole point."
That's the ice. You got nothing. It's just a bottle of tequila. Yeah, that's the next drinking episode. Let's all get ice buckets and do the Russell Crowe challenge.
I'm absolutely down. As soon as I'm allowed to drink again, I actually, by the time I'm allowed to drink again, I'll be allowed to smoke again. So maybe we'll do a different kind of episode.
I'm down with either. Yeah,
Yeah,
works with me. So
I'll get one of those $800 joints that looks like a fucking baseball bat.
and then take like a few hits and be like, all right, well, let's hold this for later.
That was a huge waste of money.
Why did we buy this? It's for the story, man. We bought it for the story. So